Are you stuck in the endless cycle of writing goals but never reaching them? And you want to figure out what the actual reason is that you're not reaching them and want to know how to fix it? Then I'll explain to you why you're probably not reaching your goals by revealing the 3-step goal setting method. By the way, you're probably missing step 3. We have all got the advice that goals are important and you should write it down and try to act on them on a daily basis. The problem with this advice is that it doesn't teach you the structure of a goal. A goal is comprised of 3 parts. You have your MIGs, tangible metrics, and action metrics. And 97% of people stop at step 2, some even at step 1. This is a real problem because the only real results come from acting on step 3. Let me explain all of them in greater detail. MIGs. The first part is actually figuring out what your goals are. The more you try to do, the less you actually accomplish. Execution requires focusing on a small number of most important goals to ignite actual real results. So identify a small number of really specific important goals. Vague goals, like just saying, work harder on more important stuff, doesn't really ignite the real passion needed to constantly push yourself. A specific goal with tangible and substantial benefits, like these here, generate way more of that ambition. Once you've identified your mix, you need tangible metrics to show whether you actually hit that goal. Mix and tangible metrics are often very closely related. The key difference is that the goal is a desire that you want, whilst the tangible metric is what is used to measure if you have actually reached that desire. If you have a positive result on your tangible metric, well, then it means that you've reached your MIG, which, good job. To put it simply, if your MIG is to graduate this year from college, well, then your tangible metric is your final exam score, because that metric shows if you have reached your MIG. You can only graduate if you have a positive final exam score. The only difference here is that it's worded a bit differently in a way where you can actually measure it with solid metrics. You can't measure graduating from college, but you can measure what the score is on your final exam, which ultimately decides if you graduate from college. The core problem with tangible metrics is that they come too late to change your behavior. When you finally see your final exam score, it's already decided if you have graduated or not. It's not like you can go back in time and study more or like review past lectures. Nah, it's already over. Tangible metrics like these tell you if you have achieved the MIG after the fact, but they don't guide your actions while you're working towards it. The problem is that most people just stop here. They identify their mix and they subconsciously or consciously decide what results they need in order to reach that MIG. But they miss one crucial part, and that is what they need to do before reaching that MIG. What will influence their actions to reach that MIG. That's where action metrics come in. Action metrics, by contrast, show the actions you directly control that will drive a positive result on the tangible metric. They track the actions you do now that will reach to the desired outcome later. For instance, in order to get a positive final exam score, i.e. your tangible metric, action metrics could be studying more, reviewing past lectures, redoing assignments that you struggled with before, etc. You can pause to check other examples of action metrics here. So in a nutshell, MIGs are the most important goals you want to achieve. Tangible metrics is what is used to measure if you have actually reached that MIG. A positive result on your tangible metric means you have reached the MIG. And action metrics show the actions you can take that will help you reach a positive result on your tangible metric. By focusing on action metrics, you are actively working on the activities most likely to reach your MIGs. Unlike tangible metrics, which offer no immediate feedback for daily actions, tracking your action metrics allows you to see progress instantly and also adjust your schedule and habits accordingly to ensure you're constantly engaging in the work that matters the most. That was a mouthful, my bad. So next time you're trying to reach your goals, think about what the action metrics are in order to reach your tangible metrics so you can accomplish your MIG. I know it sounds very meta, but I hope it makes sense. So now you know how to actually accomplish your goals by knowing what to focus on. But another problem emerges. And that is that you actually need to be able to focus as long and deeply as possible on those action metrics. If you want to know how I went from focusing for 30 minutes to 5 hours, click here. Thank you, join the Discord, link in bio, see ya.